Good morning, everyone. It's a real privilege to be here today and to stand alongside so many people who are dedicated to improving the lives of people affected by cancer. I want to start off by acknowledging Cancer Trials Ireland, and thank you so much for the invitation to speak today. Your leadership, your expertise, and your commitment to cancer clinical trials in Ireland is very much appreciated. And to everyone in this room, I'd like to recognise clinicians, researchers, nurses, trial staff, policymakers, patient partnership. It's not just about doing what we do to improve cancer research. You guys do what you do to directly improve outcomes for patients, and that's really, really important and very much recognised and appreciated by the Irish Cancer Society. In terms of the Irish Cancer Society, our goal is that everyone affected by cancer in Ireland has access to world-class cancer research, care and support. We all know the reality of cancer in Ireland. Almost every family has been touched by cancer in some way, and behind every statistic that you're going to hear about today is a person. It's a parent, a partner, a child, a colleague, a friend. But what we do know, and what we're so grateful for, is that outcomes are improving, survival is increasing, treatments are becoming more targeted, quality of life is better. And we in the Irish Cancer Society really believe that that is as a result of research. And at the heart of that research is cancer clinical trials. And that's why we are so proud over the last 3 years to partner with Cancer Trials Ireland. Over the last while, through our 3 million investment, so that's 1 million a year, we've worked together on a shared ambition to really improve the landscape of cancer clinical trials in this country. So together we're working to try get more trials to Ireland, to try get more patients accrued in trials, and to try offer different types of trial options to patients. So, IMP trials and drug trials are so very important, but so too are non-IMP trials, such as radiotherapy and surgery, and non-intervention trials, such as patient-led trials and translational research. For us, it's about working together to build a system where more patients get access to the right trial for them at the right time. It's really encouraging to see the progress, and I know Angela detailed the accrual numbers for 2025, and it's phenomenal to see that growth. 4,700 people enrolled on a clinical trial last year is really, really heartening. And as you said, Angela, a significant portion of this came from the lung health check pilot. So this was an Irish Cancer Society 4.9 million partnership with Beaumont Hospital and RCSI to bring lung cancer pilot screening to Ireland. It is very much an ongoing trial, so results are still provisional at the moment, but really encouraging. So as of March 2026, over 2,100 people were screened as part of this pilot. 32 lung cancers have been detected in asymptomatic patients. 17 curative surgeries has taken place. And I suppose the reason I'm bringing this particular study up today, and what's particularly striking to me, is how much this program reflects true collaboration from Beaumont and RCSI clinical partners to our patient partners, Seamus and Anne-Marie, who worked really hard on this, to Centric Health GP practices, to GAA clubs who allowed us to have the mobile unit on their premises, to Alliance Medical, who were responsible for the operation of the trial. It really demonstrates that it takes a whole community working together to deliver impactful patient-centred research. And I suppose that's what I really want to emphasise today. Progress in cancer research depends on partnership. We're all on the same side here, so we need to break down silos and really work together. Another area that Ireland is showing real leadership in is patient partnership. And again, I know Angela mentioned the great patient partnership work that's happening in CTI. Over the past 12 months, through my involvement in international forums, what's really stood out to me actually is that Ireland is leading the way in this space. And something that we're not doing, and I really think we need to be, is shouting that from the rooftops, how strong we are in patient partnership. I want to call out the tireless work of the CTI Patients Consultants Committee in particular here, who work actively to drive forward patient-led research in key areas of unmet need. We have been so proud to support Siobhan Gaynor in the very first patient-led trial at CTI, and this year we're supporting Martin Sweeney, whom you're going to hear from later in the PPI panel, on his work leading out on the PROACT study. So that's on the sexual experience after prostate cancer for patients and their partners, which is a really unique perspective. And I want to call out Jacqueline Daly as well, who worked really hard on the partnership piece. This is absolutely groundbreaking work, and it really showcases the value of patient-directed research. I think this is a really clear blueprint of how we should all be going about directing and conducting cancer trials going forward. And Seamus bet me to the announcement. Hot off the press, I'm delighted to announce that we've renewed our partnership with Cancer Trials Ireland. We signed our partnership agreement in April. So that's around continuing our €1 million investment per year over the next 3+ years, really to continue to drive forward improvements in cancer trials. So this is going to include continuing our support for academic and collaborative trials of unmet need, support for the CTI startup team in reducing down those trial timelines, and I'm delighted that we are starting to see progress and starting to see that reduction, and then continuing our work supporting and advocating for patient-led research. I suppose in terms of looking ahead, I have to acknowledge the significant challenges. I know everyone in this room knows about the challenges, so I'm very much preaching to the choir here, but it would be remiss of me not to mention them. We are obviously, as a clinical trials community, in a real period of uncertainty, particularly around that future-proofing of trial funding. We are delighted to have that report from the National Clinical Trials Oversight Group published at the end of last year, and I really do want to commend Professor Donal Brennan and colleagues and all members of that group for their important work and recommendations. We very much welcome next steps. We very much are looking forward to the establishment of CTAC and the implementation of these measures. However, I do want to highlight the need for also supporting non-IMP studies in Ireland. As a community, we really must ensure that we continue to support and advocate for those areas, particularly in strengthening supports for academic-led trials and research. It's also really essential that we focus on equity of access. We need to ensure that patients across the country can participate in clinical trials, including through more decentralised models. We really need to work to get trials closer to a patient's home. We know from our own patient partnership panel how important that is. One patient told us that accessing a trial in Dublin would mean an 8-hour round trip. That's not acceptable. So my call to action is, I'm sure, the call to action of everyone here today. If we are to deliver on this investment, we need sustained, predictable investment. We need rolling, long-term funding that supports the full spectrum of trials, IMP, non-IMP, interventional and non-interventional. As we look ahead to the National Cancer Strategy and the next iteration of this, there is a real opportunity here to embed this commitment and ensure research is recognised as a core pillar of cancer care. I just want to finish on the words of Aoife from County Louth. Aoife was diagnosed with ovarian cancer a number of years ago, and she outlines in her words how important cancer research and clinical trials are. There's so much research happening, it's unbelievable, and I really do believe that we'll eventually be able to manage all types of cancer. The treatments are getting better all the time. For me, it was hard, but I thought it was going to be more difficult. It's only when you go through something like that you realise what's going on behind the scenes with regards to research. Those words underscore, to me, something really important. We need to do more as a community to raise awareness of cancer research. It needs to be something that people are not just hearing about in the midst of a cancer diagnosis, but something they understand, they value, they trust from the outset. Clinical trials need to be seen as something not to fear, but a vital part of care, progress, and hope. Thank you.